Hello dear friends, today we are going to see two games. The first game is between Steinitz and yes sir, Steinitz and Selman. This game is, I think, well known. Particularly, I hope you know this game. This game is one of the first games of the first positional games, and only Steinitz is called as the father of positional chess, because at that time everyone used to bam 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 attack, sacrifice, win. But Steinitz introduced the idea of positional play in chess. That is very important. Positional play means slow maneuvering upon fast attacks. So let's start the game. Steinitz was white, Selman was black. The game started e4. Okay, you may say I know this opening. e6, d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, e5, and you may be like, oh, do I know this? Let me remember. This is the French defense classical variation, and obviously Steinitz variation, because Steinitz played it many times and he was the one who discovered this amazing variation. Now it was played n, f to d7, f to 4. That's the main line here. c5. Now here main line is knight f3. Although in the game was played d into c5, bishop into c5, knight f3, e6, and here this is also some. There only two games are played, but if we go back, then we will see that Sergei Volkov has also played this. This d into c5 move, 11,000 games here. D into c5 move very rare, 0% score. D into c5 only played by Nigel Short once. Once was played Nigel Short against Alexander Morozovich, and since then was played by Ovechkin Roman 3 times. Against Nepomniachtchi he lost, and against Ryantsev he won, and Volkov he also lost. But he won against Ryantsev. That's a good achievement. Ryantsev is a strong player, 2600 I think. Okay, so now let's see what it is. Okay, so d into c5 is not so like advanced move in theory, but still, come on, it's like what? It's like 1885. Come on, the theory wouldn't have even started. So a6, bishop d3, developing the bishop. Now knight c6, logical move. Bishop d3, knight c6 was played. Now knight b4 is the threat here. And then taking the bishop. Okay, I confess this was a trick. It's not the threat here. You will know why in a few moves. So here, one thing is a3. Another thing which is played in the game was queen to e2. Ooh, okay, let's jump in the action. So now knight b4 was played. This is a sad story of a bad move. I think dubious would be the right expression for such a move. Now from here, all the bad things start for black. Okay, why dubious? Dubious. You'll know in a few seconds. Bishop to d2, b5, just preserving the bishop. Bishop cannot go anywhere. So okay, so after b5, there's one thing you just need to remember. Here short castle cannot be played, long castle, then knight into d3. So here was played knight to d1. This is an awkward move. Why knight to d1? Okay, here there are two moves. He played a3 is better one, knight d1. See, knight d1 is the bad one, a3 is the better one. But why knight d1 is bad one? Sorry, why a3 is better one? Because now we take, and now I take with the pawn. You will know why in a couple of seconds, minutes, couple of moves later. So knight d1, then a5 is coming. If you take here, then I take knight c2, and my queenside counterplay is starting with knight into d3, and then b4, bishop a6. That is black's plan. So here b5, knight d1, a5 was not played in the game. Knight into d3 check, and now c into d3, important move. If queen into d3, there is coming b4 move with a5 and bishop a6, and now this diagonal is very dangerous. So you seriously don't wanna allow the bishop to come. That's why was played c into d3, queen b6. Here short castle is the best move according to Mrs. Engine. So b4, bishop to e7, back only move, a3, and now here there is a slight advantage. Here was played an amazing move f5, which drastically improves white's advantage. Okay, sarcastic. So f5 is f5, another. See, after a3, the best move was d4, sacrificing a pawn. Why am I saying sacrifice? Because later this pawn, one or the other way, will fall. Like here, queen e4 is coming. So here takes, and now takes, and now it's equal because after rook d8, now the file is open, and now knight b6, and the activity is very good. That's the idea of d4. But in the game f5 was played, there was equal position, but black got from equal to bad, or worse. We'll soon find out. Okay, f5. Now rook c1 was played, controlling the file. Okay, now bishop to b7. Logical move, I think. or illogical. I mean logical because this pawn is forever stuck and this bishop should be developed to b7. Now bishop to e3 attacking the queen, queen to d8, and now see the fall of the black empire. So knight d4. Now e6 pawn is very bad. That's why knight b4 was bad. The thing is that knight b4 you take the bishop, that's no problem, but you weaken this d4 square. You compromise the control, and that's what white exploited. Bishop e3, knight d4. Now it's from bad to worse. Why? Okay, let's see. Rook c1, bishop b7. This move eats some mistake. It gets things from bad to worse. This is bad, man. This is bad. Okay, so after bishop b7 was played, bishop e3, knight d4, and after knight f8, now this position is absolutely winning, and I hope you remember the two rules of converting the advantage. What are them? Tell me. Two rules are that the first rule is that when you have the advantage like this, like there's no hurry, what is opponent's doing? Let me see what is opponent's threat. His score didn't improve. Whatever opponent is doing, this is very good position because opponent has seriously no counterplay here. So what is the first rule? Okay. The first rule is no hurry. There's nowhere to hurry. Don't hurry in such positions, or else you spoil them like me. Sometimes when you hurry, I mean not time. I mean like you see your winning plan. You see your winning plan. Let's say h3 g4. It's winning. For an example, queen c2, queen c7. This plan is winning. Don't just play queen c2 then queen c7. Game over. First prevent turn, counterplay slowly and steadily improve your position and then do it. First rule, don't hurry. Second rule is look at your position and see which pieces you can improve. These are the two rules, important ones for converting these types of advantages. Strategical. Short to castle. White castles at last. h5. Knight to c3 was played. Okay, after knight to c3 was played, king to f7. Sad necessity. But thing is that if long castle, then just resign. And if you do short castle, you can't do it. Knight goes away, e6 pawn falls. And even if you short castle, h5 pawn falls. This is just miserable for black right now. I mean not even miserable, losing, because he is losing. King f7. Now knight b1 was played. Knight d2, nice c. I was not supposed to leak that one. Oh my god, I'm so crazy. Okay. Think you saw nothing and pause the video and think what should you play. Okay, knight b1 idea is knight to d2 to b3 to a5 or to c5. We'll see, find out. g6, knight d2, knight d7, knight to b3, and now threat is knight to a5 and trapping this miserable bishop or getting to the c6 square. So rook c8, knight e5, knight a5, bishop a8, just here For a second, after rook into c8, queen into c8, rook to c1, queen to b8, and now queen to c2. Now just for a second, pause the video and see black's miserable position. This a8 bishop is just crying out of sadness. d5 bishop, all the pawns, 7 pawns are limiting its potential. It has only 2 legal moves right now, and all of the moves are covered by pieces. So bad. e7 bishop is also limited by all white pawns. What is left? Then king is also limited. It's all like, what do you play here? It's the question of the century. I mean, literally, it's very hard to see what you play. So bishop to d8, trying to exchange the a5 knight, but no, knight is c6. Bishop into c6. No, queen b7. If you take here thinking that this miserable bishop will be exchanged, queen into c6 comes. a6 pawn, e6 pawn, and the d7 knight is also hanging. 1 and 2 and 3 and 3 pieces are hanging. You can't survive this. So this is miserable. Queen into c6. That's why it was not played. Knight a c6 was played. Queen b7. Okay. Queen b7. Let's make it a main line. So after queen b7, played knight into d8 check, rook into d8, and now queen to c7. The queen infiltrates, attacking the rook. Here, let's go, baby. Queen to b8 was played here in this game, obviously. So now what should you play? Now in such a dream position, what can you do? Okay, best thing to do in such a position is to follow the number 2 rule. Is there any piece I can improve? Yes, the e3 bishop. Let's go. Let's bowl bishop to f2. Threat is bishop to h4. Now it's pretty bad now. It's a crisis. Because after bishop to f2, suddenly you can't see what to do. Queen b6 was played, and now knight to f3, attacking the queen. Now if the queen goes back, knight g5 check. So queen into c7, rook into c7, and now it's like almost wrong, man. What will you do? King e8 was played so that the knight could be defended, and the threat is bishop h4, rook into d7. That's why knight is defended by king to e8. And now, what was played? Alrighty, is bishop to h4 played? Not now. It was played, this legendary move. Knight to g5, attacking the e6 pawn. Knight to f8 was played, defending the e6 pawn. And now was played bishop to c5, attacking the f8 knight and threatening knight into e6, and most importantly, rook e7 is checkmate. That's why knight to d7 with the hope of knight into e6 and knight in... Wait, what is the hope after knight into e6? No hope after knight into c6 is knight into c5. But pause the video and think what should be the last blow of the game. A finesse bishop to d6. Amazing move. And now it's all of a sudden Zuzwang. And let's see. Bang, you move this knight. Bam, it's checkmate. Wherever you move this knight, I play rook e7 check. Like here, boom. Here, boom, check, kapow. So that's why after bishop to d6, You can't move the knight. If you try to move the rook, then I take knight into e6. So this is very bad here. So this was the amazing game, I should say. So this game showed us Steinitz' amazing style. Let's go to the next game. Daily puzzle. So today's daily puzzle, white to move and think. This is Votawa. His puzzle. He is very famous composer. Hard puzzle. Pause the video and think what will you do. Okay. So I hope you saw this queen is kind of trapped, and if we go to f4 on time, and so we could win, and if we force the king onto e8, then we can threaten knight f6 check whenever he comes queen h5. If you did this observations, good job. And if we somehow force him to come to e8 with taking the h5 square, that could be decisive. Yeah, so that if we force him to e8 and then we continue with knight d5, and then we'll take his h5 square, because queen h5 is knight f6. If you did all these and find bishop to e8, I am like, what? Crazy. Hats off. This is very, very, very unconventional and very hard move to find. So king into e8, and now knight to d5 is the thing. Bishop e8 prohibits the h5 square. That's why king into e8, and now knight to d5. Now threat is knight f4, and thing is that whenever you play, let's say threat is knight f4, whenever you play queen h5, it comes knight f6 check, force your king and queen, and that will result in a beautiful game over. That's why knight d5, queen h5 is not played in the game. H5 is the main line here. Yeah, h5, and now knight f4 just. And here king d6. Here it's king to d7, right, knight into h3, g into h3, king to f2, king to d6, king to f3, and now king f4, king f4, king g5, king h5, king h4, king h3. This pawn will go to queen. This game is easily winning, so that's why. See, first we'll take this pawn, and then we'll do g4, g5, g6, g7, g8. So this was the amazing game and the daily puzzle. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you.